True speed comes not from rushing through life, but from moving with such clear intention that every step carries you exactly where you need to go. And that is the thought for today. Welcome to 7 Good Minutes. I'm Clyde Lee Dennis. Thanks for joining me for what I believe will be 7 of the most enriching minutes of your day. In today's episode of 7 Good Minutes, we talk about releasing the need to rush. Enjoy. In this very moment, as you listen to these words, notice what's happening in your body. Are your shoulders tense? Is your breathing shallow? Are you already thinking about the next thing you need to do after this episode ends? If so, you're experiencing what millions of people feel every single day, the relentless pressure to rush through life, as if speed itself were the measure of success. By the end of this episode, you'll understand why releasing the need to rush isn't about moving slower, but about moving with intention, and how this shift can transform your effectiveness, your relationships, and your overall sense of well-being. We live in a culture that has made rushing a virtue. We celebrate being busy, we wear our packed schedules like badges of honor, and we've convinced ourselves that if we're not constantly in motion, we're somehow falling behind. But here's what I've discovered through years of observing human behavior. The people who rush the most often accomplish the least of what truly matters. Rushing is not the same as moving with purpose. When you rush, your attention becomes scattered, your decision-making becomes reactive, and you miss the subtle cues and opportunities that could actually make your journey more efficient and meaningful. It's like trying to thread a needle while running. The very speed that feels urgent actually makes the task more difficult. Think about the last time you rushed through your morning routine. Did you feel more prepared for your day? Or did you arrive at your destination feeling frazzled and already behind? When you rush through conversations with loved ones, do you feel more connected? Or do you sense that something important was missed in the hurry? The need to rush often stems from a deeper belief that there isn't enough. Not enough time, not enough of you to go around, not enough hours in the day to accomplish what needs to be done. But this scarcity mindset creates the very problem it's trying to solve. When you operate from the belief that time is running out, you create internal pressure that actually slows you down and clouds your judgment. Releasing the need to rush doesn't mean becoming lazy or losing your drive. It means recognizing that sustainable productivity comes from presence, not pressure. When you're fully present with whatever you're doing, you naturally become more efficient because your energy isn't divided between the task at hand and the anxiety about everything else you need to do. Here's a simple practice that can begin to shift this pattern. The next time you notice yourself rushing, pause for just 3 seconds. Take one conscious breath and ask yourself, what would it look like to do this with intention instead of urgency? You might discover that you can move just as quickly, but with a completely different quality of attention and ease. I've watched people transform their entire relationship with time by making this one shift. They report feeling more accomplished at the end of their days, not because they did more things, but because they did the right things with greater focus and care. Their relationships improved because people felt truly seen and heard in their presence. Their work quality increased because they weren't making the careless mistakes that come from rushing. The paradox of releasing the need to rush is that you often end up moving through your day more smoothly and efficiently. When you're not fighting against time, you start flowing with it. You begin to notice natural rhythms and opportunities for efficiency that were invisible when you were caught in the rushing mindset. Consider how nature operates. Trees don't rush to grow, yet they reach magnificent heights. Rivers don't hurry to reach the ocean, yet they carve through mountains. Seasons don't rush to change, yet they transform the entire world. There's a wisdom in natural timing that we can learn from, a recognition that sustainable progress happens through consistent, intentional action rather than frantic bursts of activity. This doesn't mean you can't move quickly when the situation calls for it. There are times when speed is genuinely necessary, but there's a difference between choosing to move quickly and being driven by the compulsive need to rush. One comes from clarity and purpose. The other comes from anxiety and fear. Start paying attention to the quality of your movement throughout the day. Notice the difference between rushing and flowing, between urgency and intention. Feel how your body responds differently to each approach. Your nervous system knows the difference, even when your mind doesn't. Remember, time is not your enemy. It's the canvas on which you paint your life. When you stop fighting against it and start dancing with it, you discover that there's actually more space in your day than you realized. Not because you have more hours, but because you're using the hours you have with greater wisdom and presence. As you move forward today, carry this truth with you. Your worth is not measured by your speed, and your success is not determined by how much you can cram into each moment. True accomplishment comes from showing up fully to what matters most, and that requires the courage to release the need to rush and trust in the power of intentional presence. That does it for today's episode of 7 Good Minutes. Please take a moment to rate and review the show on the platform you're listening on. Until next time, let's be civil to one another out there. Thanks for listening.